Today, I survived 200 days in hardcore Minecraft. If you haven't seen the first 100 days, go watch it. It's the second 100 days on my channel. It'll get you all caught up on the things, and it'll make more sense if you watch that before now. But if you're here at the premiere, please stay. I want you to stay, please. Just let's get into it. Alright, day 101, back at it again. So today I wanted to make a nether highway all the way to the warp forest and to the nether fortress area because I wanted to try and beat the game like soon in these 200 days, but I couldn't really get over there safely and I was still worried about dying. So I gathered up a bunch of blackstone the whole day and started construction on it, and even ended up doing construction on it into day 2. Day 103 was just more work on the nether highway. In the nighttime I went to repair my pickaxe as it was getting kinda low, and then that was the end of day 3. Day 104 was just more nether highway construction, though at one point I wanted to see if a bed would kill me with my current armor status. So what I did was I hopped into a creative world, gave myself my diamond armor with the exact enchantments, and then blew up a bed right next to me. It killed me. That's just the long and short of it, so I just went back to working on the nether highway and didn't think any more about it. Day 105 and 106 was just more nether highway work. I was digging a lot of blackstone because I had ran out, and I have to say, I am making some real progress on this highway. I was able to safely make my way over to the warp forest on day 107. I had finished enough of the highway that it wasn't going to be too dangerous to get over, but I was also trying to get ender pearls because I was trying to beat the game in these 200 days. Then I came out of the nether and I was trying to get music discs, I think, because I wasn't holding any tools to get mending, so that's probably what it was. Okay, I don't even know what I was doing on day 108. I was just AFKing a lot, it seemed, and I was feeding my animals, but this was a completely wasted day where I could have been working on the nether highway. Absolutely despicable. Day 109 was more end preparing. I got blaze rods and ender pearls, and I think I have enough to go to the end now. Day 110 was just waiting for crops to grow. I'm at my farmhouse, so I assume I'm waiting for crops to grow, but maybe I'm waiting for something else. I don't know. So the next day, which was day 111, I was bored of my crops growing, so I decided to take my horse out for a spin or exploring. I don't know what I was looking for. I think it was probably a desert if I remember correctly, but that clip was recorded on October the 14th, and it's now December 21st, so there's a bit of a 2-month gap in between there, but that should be fine. So basically, just exploring. I think I was looking for a desert. Day 112, still more exploring for the desert, which I didn't find. I had traveled pretty far looking for this desert on day 113, so I decided to start traveling home. More traveling day 114. Still going. Finally got home day 115, and that is where my journey for the desert ends. Psych, did you really think I was gonna give up that easily? Day 116, I decided to go the other way! And finally on day 117, I got depressed enough at not finding a desert that I decided to return home just in time to sleep before night fell. So after my long journey that spanned 7 days, I decided that I needed a safer way to travel. I was prone to dying out here if I was just riding my horse, so I decided that I was going to build a big sky monorail. Well, not really a monorail, it was more or less a horse highway that was going to be way up in the sky. So I got out all of my diorite stairs because I wanted it to be white to look like the clouds, and I just started going up and up and up. Guess I was out of diorite stairs on day 119 because I spent the whole day in the mines looking for diorite. Still working on what I call Stairway to Heaven on day 120, and I guess I ran out of diorite stairs so I couldn't really work on it anymore. So you know how I just mentioned Stairway to Heaven? Well, I decided that I didn't want to do that anymore, and I started tearing it down on day 121. I ended up finishing it, and then to kill the time until the end of the day, I explored some underground areas from the new 1.18 update, which I had just updated to in this day, by the way. So the next day, I decided that my fortune pickaxe was deserving of mending, considering I had to mine deep slate with it now, so I garnered up my emeralds and took to the village. I underestimated the cost of the mending book by 2 emeralds, and I had 10, but it was actually 12, so I just traded with the Fletchers for a bit, got the emeralds, got the book, and then applied it to my pickaxe. And I spent the night that time farming mobs just to try and get it up, and I got it up a decent amount. I think it was like 400 or 500 durability, so it's good. The next day, which was day 123, was the start of the 7-day chicken coop saga. I wanted to make a chicken farm, and I wanted to have 9 chickens going at once. So I laid out the hoppers, and then laid out the fences. I got the basic structure up because I didn't want to be tagged by any creepers or mobs or anything out there at the night. So I got the chickens in, and then, this is all spanning from day 123 to day 130, I noticed that the fences were not necessarily allowing the eggs to fall into the hoppers because the fences aren't full blocks, so they can sometimes be laid on the next block because the fences don't take up the whole block. So I changed it to glass and it worked just fine. Anyways, what happened next was I decided that I needed a collection system for my eggs because I can't just have chests under them. That would be too painful to go around. So I decided that to save on iron, since I didn't have much, I was going to make minecart hoppers. I was going to have them going back and forth on rails, and then at the end it's going to funnel into 3 hoppers for each row, which is going to funnel through 2 hoppers into a big chest in the center, which is going to fill up with all of my wonderful eggs. However, that is easier said than done, because chickens, one, are very hard to work with, especially baby chickens, because apparently they couldn't be away from their friend for 2 seconds before they started walking back. Really must have been lonely, but when I held out seeds, I became what I dreamed of in real life, the chick magnet. However, that didn't really work, because they also decided to jump both of them and then go back in the same hole. You see where the problem is now. Okay, this is a bit of an editor's note here. I noticed while editing that I could have avoided all of this by just using the fishing rod that was in my inventory. I could have just gotten up on the roof of the building and used my fishing rod to fish one of them out of the hole and then patch up the hole. Really wish I'd thought of that in the days, but back to the video. So, I finally got it done. I got them all trapped in, I encapsulated them in glass, and it was awesome. And then I noticed that eggs weren't going into the hoppers. Some of them were actually in the little grove in the hoppers. I was like, what the hell? Why are they not going in? What is happening? I was actually getting frustrated at this point, and I figured out that it was because of the way that I laid out the powered rails underneath. It was locking the hoppers so it couldn't be picked up by the minecart hoppers, and also the hoppers underneath it were also getting locked so it couldn't even be disposed. So nonetheless, the hoppers couldn't even pick up the eggs. I fixed that, and finally, on day 130, I managed to route out all the problems with the chicken farm. And the worst part is, I'm still not sure if I truly ratted out all the problems. I guess we'll find out in day 130 to 140. I spent day 131, 132, and 133 in the mines, just mining for stone. Not anything in specific, I was just mining for stone, because I want to expand my road to the village that was in the dark oak forest, and the only way that I can do that consistently is to use stone bricks, and I didn't have a lot of stone on hand, so I needed more stone. And on day 134, I was beginning to expand my road. I'd gotten it right to the shore and then a little bit on the ocean, but that's all I could really get done on day 134. So I was just doing more road construction the next day, and you ever see one of these? What are they called? Like ladders? Like they're just ladders with like a platform at the bottom for people who are stupid enough to fall into the water. And I wanted one of those because if I fell off, I didn't want to have to swim all the way back to the shore to get back up to my road, so that was a very useful part of my construction. So it was just more road construction on day 136, and let me tell you something, the next couple days it's just me working on the road. However, today I ran out of logs, but did you think that was ever gonna stop me? I chopped down trees in the middle of the night in the dark oak forest to make more logs to get more road done. This is how dedicated I am to it, okay? So day 137 was just more road construction, but like you already knew that, so the only interesting part of this day was that I had to clear a bunch of trees that were in the way, which were all dark oak trees, which means I got a lot of logs or planks, but they're not the nice logs that I use for my road, so they're useless to me. Day 138, more road construction. You know what? I'm just not going to mention that anymore when I'm working on it. It's just, that's not important. That's just boring to say. Don't say that. Anyways, I had to dig a tunnel, though, for the road, so I guess that was kind of fun, but that's all I really got done on day 138. So day 139, didn't record, so here's a picture of a penguin while I try to explain what I did. So I finally used those dark oak logs that I dug for the road to make a nice lining for the inside of the tunnel. It's planks. You'll see it on day 140 because I ride the whole road, I think, on day 140. However, there's no promises there. Day 140, finally wrapping up my road work. There's no promises that this is the end of the road work, though. Although the roads were getting a little bit confusing, there was a lot of sub-roads, and it really made you think what was the main road. So I had the north-south road and the east-west road as the main road, and then there was north-south route 1, north-south route 2, and north-south route 3. Route 3 was to the village, route 2 was to my farmhouse, and route 1 was, well, route 1 to the original village with the spruce tree path or whatever. Alright, day 141. Very important day. It was the day that I set out to the stronghold. Nothing special really happened today. I only just did some traveling and only made it to like a birch forest or a regular forest by the end of the day. Now, I know I said day 141 was boring, but day 142 was the complete polar opposite of day 141. 141. It was not boring at all. It started out pretty boring. I was just traveling. I eventually found this really cool 1.18 mountain because I had just crossed over into the new 1.18 terrain, which is where the stronghold was going to be. I was a bit nervous that the stronghold positions were going to be off, but we'll get into that later. Then the oddities started coming. You see, Minecraft 1.18's chunk blending system isn't exactly perfect, and it can mess up structures a little bit. They even mentioned it in their 1.18 updating video. However, it's not really supposed to be this extreme, I don't think. There was a shipwreck in the side of a mountain. I was genuinely confused and concerned for the pirates that managed to land their boat there. I don't know how they managed to do that. I even looked at my horse. I talked to my horse in game. This is getting insane. However, I was traveling up the mountain because that was where the stronghold was, and I saw a witch hut in a snowy plains. This is just getting really, really out of hand. I don't know what to say about this anymore. Anyways, I had found the stronghold and well, not really the stronghold, but I found the place where the eye was going, and then I looked to my right, and I saw a shipwreck on top of the mountain. What is going on? I really can't tell anymore. It's pretty weird, but I started digging down, and that's where I slept, happy that this day was over. Didn't really run into any oddities the next day. However, I started digging down for the stronghold, but where the eye was going, I didn't find the stronghold, and this is where I started to get really worried because I thought that the stronghold positions were going to be off because of the 1.18 or 1.17 to 1.18 update, and which was a legit concern for me because of the way that structures were placed and formed, and I saw this bug about Bedrock Edition where structures and end portals would break if they generated on the chunk blending sides of 1.17, 1.18 chunks, but that doesn't really matter because it's Bedrock Edition. Anyways, I had to use a little bit of external help because the eye was not leading me to the stronghold, so I loaded up my good friend Chunkbase. This is the only time that I'll ever use him in this whole playthrough because, like, legit, this isn't even my fault. I popped in my coordinates and I saw the closest stronghold to 1.17 was actually supposed to be right on top of me, and I was genuinely confused. I didn't know how that was supposed to be possible because the terrain generator was updated, but I guess that doesn't change structure positions. But all I know was that I didn't find it, so I decided to go to the next stronghold. Well, actually, I didn't go to the next stronghold. What happened was I took the coordinates from where the stronghold was supposed to be, and I dug down at those coordinates, and alas, I didn't find anything, which is when I got really, really confused. I was thinking, what the hell is going on? Why am I not finding anything? The big end to the story is next day, which is day 144. Alright, here's the big wrap up to the stronghold story, although it happened on day 144, so I decided that I had to include it into day 144. So basically, I was digging down, which I actually lied about in the last one. I just showed some not true footage, because that was actually, I actually did that today. However, basically, I was digging down and I was thinking, man, it would really suck if right now I fell down into a cave and I died because of it. And lo and behold, I fell down into a cave, but I didn't die because it was actually pretty shallow. This was a huge 1.18 cave, and when I say huge, I mean huge. Just look at the footage, you'll see it. And if you're blind, well, too bad, so sad. Anyways, I was looking around because I was like, well, I guess the stronghold's not here, so I might as well just go mining. And I was just looking around, I was killing some mobs, doing some mining, until all of a sudden, I ran into the stronghold. Yep, it was here the whole time. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I better find the starter staircase just so I can make a hole up. So I go back, I loop around, I find the starter staircase, I use backwards doors because I am a speedrunner myself, and I eventually found the starter staircase. However, when I looked at the coordinates of the starter staircase, I realized that I was at my hole, basically on top of it. I was wondering how. I dug one block forward and there was my water tunnel. It was to the side on a diagonal of the starter staircase. How is that fair? Who would know that that is there? This is stupid. So I just connected up my holes with the starter staircase and everything was fine. Alright, day 145 was the day I fought the Ender Dragon. Before I did that, however, I was looking for the portal room because I hadn't yet found it. Turns out it was only one hallway down from the starter staircase and through a door. So that was actually pretty nice, because it's not this common that I get a closed portal. Anyways, I hopped in, and I found that I had a pretty exposed spawn, but it wasn't over the void, so I was pretty happy about that. I threw my pearl up, and I got right to the center. I started shooting down all the crystals, and I succeeded in that. This fight was pretty easy, except for the part where I got terrified and almost died. I'm gonna do a little bit of a play-by-play. So, you see, the Ender Dragon here, he's perched, and I thought this fight's going too slow. It's bedtime, because I had the bed that I was using for my spawn point and to sleep, so I could get through the days a little bit faster. So I popped that down right by his head and blew it up. It did a little bit of damage, but it did more damage to me, because it sent me flying hundreds of blocks into the air. I got launched, I think, probably 150 blocks into the air. So I got my water bucket ready, but I was like, okay, I need to actually have a more guaranteed solution that I'm not going to die here, because I always have this thing where I can do MLG waters anytime except when I need to clutch up, and it's every single time that I need to clutch up that I will die on it. So basically, I throw an ender pearl trying to hit the bedrock on top of the obsidian tower. That pearl throw is very, very important because I'm trying to hit the bedrock. However, I realized that I missed and that I should probably get my water ready, but then I was like, okay, well, I have one more pearl, and I know that if you throw the pearl just before you hit the ground, it'll travel down faster than you are falling every time. So I threw down my pearl, and I was fine. And I thought I was fine, so I grabbed out my sword, I started running, and then I got teleported by the other pearl that I threw. Guess where it landed? On the edge of a giant hole that was in the end island. And I looked down, I thought, oh. And then I double took and realized that I was above the void. I got my water bucket ready thinking I was gonna die, but I clutched up on the very last block that was there and was terrified. I was stunned so much to the point where I think I let go of my keyboard and mouse just to like put my hands on my head and go, oh. But I survived, so I started trying to get back up, but then I remembered, oh wait, the Ender Dragon, after not perching, or after coming out of a perch, will always charge the player's position. Great. And I was sucked down here, which means I was gonna die. So I was getting up, but then I thought, hey, I should probably get into the end island so that he can't destroy the blocks. So I patched up with endstone, and so that he can't launch me off into the void. So that's where I got into it. I started digging up, and I even ate a golden apple because I was super nervous that the Ender Dragon was gonna deal a bunch of damage to me and kill me, because that guy can actually pack a punch when he actually hits you, although he doesn't hit you very commonly these days. So I got up though, I was fine, and I finished the fight and grabbed the dragon egg, and I played all of that on December the 23rd. Merry Christmas to me, I guess, but it was 2 days before Christmas, but whatever. That was a literally terrifying experience. So after all of that, it was finally day 146. I couldn't be happier that all that was over. So I decided that I wanted to start doing something in the end. Like I wanted to go to the end city to get the elytra. However, I couldn't get there exactly fast, and my horse was there, so I couldn't get my horse back. So basically, what I did was I was about to travel, but then I realized, wait, I can use the north-south road or the east-west road, whatever one I choose, and start to expand. The problem is, I don't have a lot of stone. So what's the easiest way to get stone? Just spend a couple days mining in the mines, like above deep slate level, because I'm not looking for diamonds, I'm looking for stone? No. I'm gonna make a beacon. I'm gonna kill the wither, get 2 stacks and 36 blocks of iron, and I'm gonna kill the wither, just so I can mine stone the littlest bit faster. I don't even have efficiency 5, so I don't even know how that's gonna work. However, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna kill the wither and make a beacon. So, I decided to get to work on the iron part of things. I made an ender chest with the Eye of Ender that I had, but then I took off to the stronghold area, which is what I should have been doing in the first place, because it didn't actually take that long to get there, and I just went in that cave that I found before I found the stronghold. And let me tell you, there was a lot of iron in there. However, it was a little hard because about 17 minutes into the recording for day 147, it froze and stayed like that for another 36 minutes. Great to know that I lost all that footage. Here's the static image that I saw. However, that was all that happened to day 151. Yay. So I thought that the end portal was far away, so I decided that I needed a bit of a faster and safer way to get there. Maybe the nether isn't safer, but it definitely is faster, and that's what I constructed today. I lied about finishing the highway on day 152. I actually finished it on day 153. I'm sorry. And the next day I got my horse back, and I thought I was going to do a little bit of exploring just because I was there, so I sort of skidded out a little bit onto the outskirts of where I was. I did end up going pretty far, but I did find the tiniest ice spikes ever, so that's a plus. And day 155 was spent trying to get home. I had severely underestimated the length of the journey I took, and I didn't even get home at the end of this day. And day 156 was finally the day where I got home. It took me 20 minutes on horseback just to get back from where I ended my journey. That's insane. The next day I noticed that my chests were getting pretty cramped, and my ores chest especially was getting pretty cramped outside. So I dug a big hole where I would store my ores and my stones. Well, actually it was just specifically my ores because my stones can stay in that chest, but this should hopefully allow me to store more of the ores and get less of a clutter going on in that chest. Today was spent getting moss so that I can more or less decorate my storage hole. I think it's gonna look pretty nice. Day 159 was all about bone milling moss and then mining it instantly with the diamond hoe. It sounds like a really complicated process, but the fact is, it's not complicated, and that's what I did, and now I have enough blocks to decorate my fun little storage cave. Day 160 was just a day all about transportation. You won't believe how much I had to transport. It took me quite a while to transport all my ores from that chest up on the rocks to the chest down in the moss cave. And if you thought I was only storing ores, I decided that I'm gonna make a mob drop storage area too. I gathered a bunch of cobblestones and vines and turned it into mossy cobblestone. The next day I spent it hollowing out my little hole where I was gonna fill it with cobblestone and mossy cobblestone. Going for a dungeon look here, and I think it's looking pretty sweet. Finished placing the cobblestone and mossy cobblestone on day 163. I wanted to add something else to it because it looked pretty boring as of now, so I grabbed some chains, and I eventually settled on a design that I liked. Then I just plopped down the chests. Didn't really know what I wanted to do on day 164, but towards the end of the day, I just went down a random cave and found an amethyst geode. That is a much easier spot to access than whenever I had before, because I don't remember, honestly. Day 165 was the day I went into the end and faced my fears of the void. However, the void decided to clap back and almost killed me when I forgot how many blocks I had in my hotbar. Good thing I had an ender pearl, otherwise this would have been ending on day 165. This also spanned across day 166 and 167, which was also known as end exploration, where I went and found 3 or 4 end cities, got an elytra from one of them, and some shulker boxes. Overall, I think these 3 days were a big success. Day 168 was the day I came back from the end. I deposited my items from my shulker boxes into my chest, and then later I went on a night run to get XP to get my armor and tools back up to full durability. Day 169 was a nice day to do nothing. However, I did find a pillager captain towards the end of the day, so I guess I'm doing a raid tomorrow. Day 170 was raid day. I pretty much easily cleared all the waves, and I still hate the Vex. Almost died to them and a Ravager. Great. So the next day I thought this trident was pretty low, so I decided that I was going to put mending on it. I gathered up my emeralds, went to the village on my horse for some reason because I have an elytra now, and got the mending book, brought it back and put it on the trident. That's all I really did today. The next day I had the craziest thought. I was going to try and find a desert. I thought that now that I had an elytra, it would be a lot easier to travel and a lot faster. Now, I know what you're saying. If you haven't found a desert by now, why are you still trying? Well, I'm very, very desperate for a desert because I need glass because I'm going to make an enderman farm here in the next couple days. So I want a massive amount of sand so I can get glass. So I spent today trying to get Unbreaking 3 on my elytra because I didn't have it. And I was going to leave tomorrow. So there was one tiny little problem with my plan to leave today. And that was that I didn't have Unbreaking 3 yet. So I just kept re-rolling the villager lectern over and over, and eventually I did end up getting it. And since I was the hero, I got it for 22 emeralds instead of the 31. That's awesome. So I decided to buy it, and I put it on my elytra. And I needed to get my elytra back up, so I did some coal mining, and at the end of the day, this was a bad idea, I left. And I got all the way to this really cool snowy taiga biome. Day 174 was a continuation from my journey that started on day 173 to find a desert. Along my travels today, I found this really cool shattered savanna-like terrain, but it was in a taiga biome, which is just awesome. This is why I love 1.18. But then, as I was flying over an iceberg biome, I saw something just sort of like a block, almost like a chest underground, which means that there was a buried treasure chest around. Little did I know, if we zoom in here in the footage, which this is actually just a falling sand block, and I thought it was a buried treasure chest. Just to add insult to injury, my stupid brain forgot that buried treasure chests spawn on 9-9 and thought they spawned on 4-4, which is actually the number for the starter staircase of the stronghold. So I spent the better half of today just digging 9-9 around where I saw that, not finding anything. 1, because it's not at 9-9, and 2, because it was just a falling sand block. Day 175 was just me traveling. I found this savannah village, and then by that I found a jungle. Bordering that jungle was a mesa, and a thought popped into my head. You know what always borders a mesa? A desert! And lo and behold, I finally found a desert. Plus 2 desert temples. I got my sand that I needed and some extra loot along the way. We're heading home, boys. The next day I just kind of relaxed a little bit. I wanted to check out the biome blend that happened between my 1.17 and 1.18 chunks. And I have to say that it's basically flawless. Looking at this footage right here, you basically can't tell what's 1.17 and what's 1.18 unless you know the distinct differences. They did an awesome job on this. I know this is a little bit of a jump here, but day 177 to 181 was the construction and exploitation of something I should have built a long time ago, an Enderman farm. It was pretty easy, and I 100% reaped the benefits of that thing. The next day, I for some reason really hated the stripped birch log posts on my house, so I decided to replace them with dark oak stripped logs, and I have to say, it actually looks a million times better. I'm happy I did this. The next day, I ran out of ideas of things to do, so I just built a cheeseburger on a mountain. It actually doesn't look half bad, not gonna lie. Day 184, I built some docks. They look pretty nice, but this is gonna host a giant ship if I ever decide to do 300 days. The next day was a continuation of building the docks. However, I took a trip to the jungle and got some jungle wood because I thought it would look pretty cool if the logs that were underwater were jungle logs, which means that they look sort of mossy and dead almost underwater. And honestly, they actually look pretty good, not gonna lie. Day 186, I became a farmer. I wanted to expand my wheat farm, and I have to say, I expanded it a lot. Day 187, I did some wheat planting and farming. My farm's getting pretty big. It took me 188 days to lead 2 sheep into my farm when they were only about 100 blocks away. Good job, me. Then I started on a wizard tower towards the end of the day. It's gonna look awesome. Still working on the wizard tower on day 189. Finally finished the wizard tower on day 190, and I didn't really know what else to do, so I just kinda did nothing. The next day, which was day 191, I decided that I was gonna go mining in the lush caves. It's a very beautiful biome in my opinion, and I really want to see Mojang implement more things like this. Day 192, I was bored, so I decided to do some fishing. Not much, just some fishing. The next day, I went to do some end city hunting. I was hoping this would take a little longer because I'm fresh out of ideas for this. However, I managed to get home right as night fell, which is just great. I'm really scraping the bottom of the barrel for ideas here. On day 194, I went netherite hunting. I found 1 ancient debris and decided to give my world some lore and say that the wizard tower is powered by 1 ancient debris. Day 195, I was 100% fresh out of ideas, so I just decided that I would start becoming the wheat king, and overall, I'm progressively becoming the wheat king, I can confirm. The next day was a continuation of my journey to be the wheat king. Towards the end of the day, I decided to come home and start working on fireworks for the 200-day fireworks show. So, bit of a problem. Day 197 and 198's footage got corrupted. Thank goodness it wasn't day 200, but I think I was just preparing more stuff for the day 200 fireworks show. Day 199 was just more preparing for the fireworks show. I'm really putting a lot of effort into lighting those 16 yellow fireworks, okay? Day 200, the day of reckoning. I finally survived 200 days. It's over. I put up my milestone sign to claim my prize, and I just had a bit of fun that day. And in the end, I lit the fireworks where I counted down like New Year's, and then what was left after those 16 yellow fireworks ran out was red, white, and blue. So I started to type the American national anthem in the chat, because why not? So that was how I ended day 200. And that was the story of the time I survived 200 days in Minecraft. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe, and if you didn't watch 100 Days yet, go watch it right now. Link is in the description for 100 Days, and basically, yeah, that's about it. It's been fun to do this, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.